bitches.
What's up? What's up?
Welcome to the Sassy Spiritual Bitches podcast episode.
Yes.
I don't fucking know. I should know that. It's like 23 or something.
I know some people are like season 1, episode whatever, and I'm like, no.
I'm like, I should know this, but I always have to go back to the previous one and be like, what episode is this? I don't even know.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I'm okay with it though.
Me too.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine.
Mm-hmm.
So how are you, Kayla?
I'm doing good. I'm pretty chill though. Vibing after the full moon. Virgo season is upon us. Feeling real low key, but like in a good way.
Yeah, like straight up centered and just like,
Yes.
I can take what's coming.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
And like low worries. I'm just like, like I got a billion things to do, but fuck it.
Yeah.
I'll get there. Not even fuck it. It's just like I can't do more in a day than I can do in a day.
Fair enough.
And prior to this new epiphany, I've been like, just make more hours in a day happen. And it was a losing battle because you can't.
Indeed. Yeah, exactly. I've been really good with the boundaries lately with that too. And it actually has not been difficult.
Fuck, I have to be honest and say that the last like 2 weeks, my boundaries have been shit. But we're closing that chapter. I have to get through this week and we'll be back to square one.
To be fair though, I don't think it would have been as easy if I just literally didn't have the time for it.
Right.
Because like with the show, like I just literally don't have the time because I'm actually doing something else.
Right.
Whereas if that wasn't there, I probably, let's be honest, still would be like, oh, let me fit you in. Or, you know.
I know. I'm so bad for that.
But not anymore.
You said it to me perfectly from my spirit guides and I channeled messages. You're like, your multitasking skills are subpar. As soon as I get like overwhelmed or like stressed, it's like my boundaries slip and then I like let things slide. But then it's just like this cycle of like never getting ahead. But I have like this week actually is my final week of like being stupid with boundaries. And then we're going to shut that chapter of my whole life. Hopefully.
I love it. Yes. Mm-hmm.
But I feel like we're getting so busy now that it's like you have no choice.
There is no choice.
You have to get your boundaries together because there's just no time to be fucking around.
Yeah, it's true. It's very true.
Yes.
And I hate saying no to people, but I literally just don't have.
Well, it's not even really a no. It's just like, well, this is the time available. And if
what I know when people are like, oh, can you squeeze me in? I hate saying no.
I know. That part's hard.
But I'm just like, no. I like legit can't, you know?
And you know what? I feel like we can both say, I mean, I'm not sure, I can't speak for you, but like when I think back to last winter, the schedule that I had set up for myself was like insane. And like, I tried that and it wasn't good for my mental health. And now I'm like, you know what? I legitimately cannot squeeze you in because trust me, it's going to be a bad time for both of us. Like,
I just wasn't busy enough.
Fuck, I was crazy. And I remember like, because I was like just starting. So you just like latch onto every dollar I wasn't just starting, but like you latch onto every person that you can get, right?
Yeah.
And then I just remember like, I remember doing like 7 sessions in a day.
Oh yeah.
I wanted to die. And then I used to work like late on Thursdays or Wednesdays and I would be doing sessions till like 10 p.m. Like there's no need for that.
No.
And I was exhausted.
Yeah.
Exhausted. I remember losing my voice all the time from talking so much. And it's like hindsight is 2020, right?
Oh,
like
totally.
You're just like, what the fuck was I doing? And now I'm just like, it's crazy. I'm like honoring myself more and I almost feel like things are flowing just generally better.
Totally.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I'm busier now than I've ever been.
And you probably had boundaries better than you ever have. And you're like, it's funny how that works.
Yeah. But there was a certain level of, I think I got a boost in like my belief in myself, which I always had. But for some reason, something clicked like at the end of last month. And I'm like, bitch, it doesn't matter.
Mm-hmm.
And I proved it to myself. Like, it doesn't matter.
Totally.
You know?
It's crazy to me to think you'd ever have any doubt because the shit that comes out of your mouth is insane.
Yeah, but then I am also like, am I just making this shit up? Because who would make this shit up? Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm just like, who's going to believe me? What the fuck? Like the last few sessions with one client of mine, I literally am looking around going, what the actual fuck?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It's getting really weird.
Some of
the sessions are getting real weird.
Yeah, it is. And I'm finally, but I've got the confidence in myself now. Like something, like it's like maybe I just don't care that I'll sound crazy.
Right.
Like I'm just like, you know what? They're gonna hear it. I saw it. They're gonna hear it. And I don't try and sugarcoat things anymore.
Good.
And I'm just like, you know what? Fuck it. I'm gonna raise my prices, and that brought us a certain level of anxiety.
Oh, always.
And I'm like, ugh. So I didn't raise them probably as much as I should have, or as my guides were like wanting me to.
It's crazy what your guides will suggest that you charge for something though. And you're like, are you guys fucking high? No.
Yeah.
I'll get there in time.
I'm just like, let's baby step it here.
I know.
It's not even so much for them. This is baby steps for me.
Oh, for sure.
You know.
For sure.
Oh. Yeah, September 1st, they're like, not all of them, but a few of them are going up, and
it's okay. It's about time.
Yeah, I know. And you know, it'll be fine. And it was when I first put out the email that it was going up that I got the anxiety. Now I'm just like, oh yeah, September 1st.
I know. I feel like September is a crazy month for manifestation. I think it has to do with the equinox, but I feel like if you listeners out there as well can just get your fucking shit together for September, like, I don't know. I think the equinox is going to bring us like big powerhouses of money. Like whenever I do like channeled messages or readings for myself or anything, it's just like raining money. And I thought that was like specifically for me. I was like, oh, cool, right on. But then I did a collective one today and it was just like money for everybody. But it was very adamant that you like keep your energy like focused in that vicinity. Like,
yeah, come to think about it, a lot of the readings I've been doing for people, abundance has been really coming up.
Abundance.
Yes. And I like to say in my readings, you guys, money, yes, definitely tied into abundance. But it's also wealth, health, and happiness.
Actually, yeah, that's how I say it too.
So I'm like, ooh, it's like, yeah, money's going to come. But even if it's not oodles, it doesn't matter because you're going to be happier, you're going to be healthier, and you're just going to be like more open to it. So more will come.
That's exactly what I've been getting. It's crazy. It's like, well, it's Virgo season, and Virgo is very like perfectionist, very health conscious, very disciplined, I guess. Like I just when I think about like my Virgo self, it's the part. Well, I guess I have Capricorn in me too, so it's like this fucking emergence of both of them. But like very critical of yourself and very critical of others.
That's very Virgo.
But it makes you like hard on yourself, right? Like you're like, I need to do this. But I don't know why, but like the Virgo energy coming through for me right now, it's just like we're finally getting back to the fields to finish sowing the crops that we started before COVID. And we're just like, it's just like, I don't know.
A returning.
Yeah. And it's going to be like really nice.
Yeah. Which just reminded me that I meant to look this up earlier when we were talking about, when we were recording the bonus episode for Patreon, which by the way, if you're not in Patreon, subscribe because we have really fun bonus episodes.
Yes.
But I was going to look up to see where exactly Virgo is in my chart.
Yeah.
Because I'm very curious to see where it's sitting. Because I woke up today feeling so fucking settled.
Yeah, where is it?
I'm going to look it up. So you chat and I will.
I don't know. So anyway, moral of the story is like get back in alignment, because if you do that, like abundance is around the corner. And like Randy said, abundance is like what it defines to you. It can be money, happiness, health, time, power, freedom. Freedom will be questionable coming up.
No. Okay, this is another thing that came up recently.
Ooh.
In
Do tell.
In some of my things, because I'm like, oh, freedom, you know, like we have another lockdown, blah, 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 blah. And they're like, it doesn't matter. It literally doesn't matter because freedom is in the mind. It's not in the actual.
That's true.
Right?
I actually heard that recently too.
So I was like, oh, yeah, fair enough. Because like they're like, think about last time, you were freer than anybody else.
That's true.
Because everyone's like, this is the worst, and you were having like the best time that you've ever had in a long, long time.
I know.
One of the best years.
I know shit's gonna get like wild because also Uranus, however you say it, has went retrograde, and I actually am a huge fan of this planet. It's in my first house, along with Neptune and Saturn. So it's like the rebel, the awakener, the eclectic, the weirdo. So it's kind of like it's switched. So like weird things are going to come to light and it's going to like awaken the masses.
Right.
And I'm so excited. And at first I was like getting this nervous kind of energy. I'm like, what's going to happen? But you know what? Like I am excited for humanity to wake up. And to be completely honest with you guys, I'm not planning to watch the news or buy into anything. Like I just think it's comical. Randy and I have spent like the last freaking year of our life basically predicting timelines, and almost all of it has come true.
Yep.
And we know that this is just a small, short little blip that's going to happen, last ditch effort to gain fear and control. And like, it's just done, you guys. Like, I don't give a shit. I don't care. I'm ready for everyone to awaken. And I hope it happens sooner rather than later, but
yeah, no shit.
People are gripped pretty tightly to their, honestly, grip pretty tightly to their own oppression.
It's true. Oh, for fuck's sake.
Where is it?
My Venus and my 4th house.
Oh, what's the 4th house? Fuck, I suck
I don't
at astrology. I know enough about it, but like the houses we're gonna get to.
Because I'm gonna look this up.
Venus.
What?
Well, Venus would definitely be in Virgo because that's your love, which we talked about.
Yeah.
Virgo in the 4th house.
Okay, the 4th house sits at the base of the chart, symbolizes home and family. Interesting. Is it
any astrologers out there want to tell us what this means?
Unique outlook on domesticity.
Oh,
that would explain why I'm such a fucking homebody.
Totally.
And why I don't
love
like
being at home.
Yeah, and I don't like leaving my house.
Yes.
Because I'm just like, I don't want other people's energies in here. I don't want other people, like I'm very particular about my house.
I was just reading something in my chart today and it was like, you should be around people. And I was like, oh Lord, because I don't know if it's just like COVID or like all my spiritual healing and stuff that's went down in the last like year and a half. I just feel like, I don't know. I just have so much anxiety when I go out. And I think I'm learning now that half of it's my anxiety and half of it is other people's. And I'm just like pulling it in. And I'm like, let me hold that for you.
Yeah.
I just get so nervous. I was telling you and Marcy the other day, I was like, I need to give myself a pep talk in the mirror every time I go in public. Like, bitch, you're doing a good job. You're awesome. People like you. You're cool. Just be yourself. And whenever I do that, I have the best night ever. But it's like, since when did I need to pep talk myself just to like go in public? That's new.
I feel like I've always had to do that. It's like, you're going to go deal with people now. And that's okay. Like, I think we need merch that says it's too people-y out there.
Honest to God, because I feel that.
Me too. I try not to.
It's a new form of anxiety I've accumulated over the last year.
It's not even an anxiety with me. It's just a straight up like, fuck, I don't want to.
Anxious as fuck.
Interesting.
I don't know why. But anyways, it's part of our humanness, I guess.
I feel like you're just feeding off the collective anxiety.
I think so too. Because when I'm at my house, I'm good. And then I was talking to a girlfriend and she's kind of like going through a tough time right now. And like my heart was just like palpitating and it hurt so bad. And I like had to cover it because I was like, bitch, get your broken heart out of here. I love you, but like, stop. It hurts. And then I was like, get out of here. Get out.
You should be able to shield yourself from that.
Yeah. And after I recognized what was happening, I was good to go. But I was like, oh Lord.
Lore.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
But, that reminds me of like a theme. It's not really a big theme, but actually happened I think we had it come up in the same person session. We did a reading and I did a reading and it was like the same thing. But I feel like when we're going through our like collective healing or like our healing, we expect one day to just like not be sad or upset or stressed anymore. And it's like, you know, the message was basically like, that's what makes us human though.
Yeah.
That's what our feelings, our emotions is what separates for us as a spirit versus like a person incarnated. And that you never really get over that. And honestly, it's not that it was news to me, but I'm also guilty for that, of being like, when am I going to be happy all the time? And when am I going to stop overthinking everything? And it never ends. They use the analogy, and they're basically like, you're like sitting in a boat and like the ocean is like waffling and wavy and things like that. And it's like, if you don't have the ability to listen to your inner compass, which is like your emotions or like this
intuition,
doesn't fear your intuition, your boat's going to sink in the storm. You don't know when the waves are going to get rougher or where to go to find land. So they said like shutting down your emotions or your intuition or your like, you know, analytical brain would get you nowhere if you didn't have that as a human being. And I'm like,
it's literally your barometer.
Exactly. And I was like, fuck. And I was like, because I would like felt the same way. I was like, when am I just going to not have to deal with this? And I was like, oh my God.
Because on one hand, it would be nice. It's like, God, like I kind of get the whole transhumanism trend where it's like, yeah, just like fucking put me in a robot and let my consciousness be in there. And then it's like, I don't have to deal with that human shit. But then you don't have to deal with the human shit.
I know,
then
like,
literally what the fuck
I know.
is the point?
Exactly.
Like I see like Tesla's building those like these AI robots that are very like humanoid and stuff. And I'm like, eek.
Yeah.
Eek.
The only thing, like not the only thing, but it seems really timely in a not good way that this would happen right now, because as we're like going through the great awakening and human beings are awakening to their consciousness and their intuition, one of the things that will be like our guiding compass is like tapping into the frequency of love, which is like our natural state. Yeah. And if you are an AI, or if you want to like, put your consciousness and fuse it with a robot, you've diminished that part of yourself to feel that love essence.
Well, you lose, yeah.
And I'm just like, what's the frequency? Like, what frequency are these AIs creating? Because I think it's going to be incompatible with the Great Awakening.
Well, my question is, what's the point? I know. Like, what is the point? And I even think of, like restaurants and stuff, stores with automated, like you do your own checkouts and like you do your own ordering and shit like that. I'm like, but what's the point of it other than like, okay, it saves you money, I guess. But what's the point of like the humanoid and robots and shit like that? Like literally, what is the point?
I know. And like, I'm wondering like, what is their selling feature on this thing? Because like, honestly, most people should be alarmed that they're going to take your jobs.
Right?
And like, they're way smarter than we'll ever be.
Well,
like, why are we? But they don't. This?
What the problem is? They're super intelligent, and they'll probably just keep getting more and more intelligent. But they won't have the inner compass to keep them.
Yeah, exactly.
On the straight and narrow.
Doesn't that fucking scare the shit out of anyone else?
Like, did nobody see Terminator? Because that is literally what they're trying to create here.
I know.
Like, I think about the whole transhumanism trend, where they do want to merge us with AI, basically. Like they want our consciousness in these like robotic bodies so we don't have to worry about like whatever. I don't know. Or at least that's from what little I've read, the gist that I'm getting. But I'm just like, that sounds fucking scary as shit to me.
I know. I'm really trying to like piece together what this is. Because if we actually think about it, I wish I knew the answer to this. Like everything technically has consciousness, right?
Well, that's just it. But what consciousness are you placing in?
I know.
Like when you create something, like let's say I'm building a shelf. I'm creating the consciousness for that shelf as I'm creating it.
Yes.
right? Because it has its own consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
But what is the intention with these? And what kind of consciousness are we creating? And what kind of consciousness are you merging your consciousness with?
Exactly. And it just like brings me back to the concept of like positive and negative souls. I just can't imagine a lot of positive oriented souls finding that a good option. So you just straight up know there's going to be this trap for like negative souls, and then they're going to be like superhuman. So
it's like, I can live forever.
Yeah. So there's two different kinds of souls. I don't think I've actually ever explained it on here. Maybe I have.
Not on the podcast. I don't think so.
No. Okay. So by design, because Earth is a plane of duality. So there are positive souls here and there are negative souls here. And it's just using descriptions. I don't know. There's no other way to describe it. Positive souls get a cord coming out of their sternum, an energetic cord that comes out of their sternum and like plugs them into like the quantum field and like source energy. So that helps us get up every day. We get moving because we are tapped into the universe, like very connected. Negative souls do not have that cord, but they still need energy to survive and get up. So they need to leech it off of the people like us who have the cords. And they'll take positive or negative attention. And usually they'll try positive, and when that doesn't work out and they realize they get more out of fear-based modules, they go really negative. And they're like really easy to spot if you know what you're looking for. They are narcissistic. They do not feel empathy. They often come off very charming and charismatic, and people really like them, but behind closed doors, they're just monsters. And you'll notice...
Are there energy vampires?
Energy vampires that need, and the attention, like they could be at your family dinner and the attention will have to be on them.
Or they'll make it about them.
Yes, they'll badmouth you, they'll flip the script, they'll play the poor me card. And you'll often really be able to tell is if they have this kind of negative behavior, but yet karma never seems to catch them. They always seem to get away with everything and things just seem to flow and ebb and like they're just coasting, but they're shitty as hell. There's lots of positive souls that do shitty narcissistic things, but it always comes back to bite them in the ass because they're not in their alignment. Positive souls are supposed to do positive things to get their good karma. And unfortunately, negative souls get their good karma from being negative. And it's not supposed to be this like thing that makes you angry. It's just to show you we don't know what good is without bad. We don't know what love is without hate. So we have to have these polar images. So they're perfectly divine. They're meant to be here this way.
The way I explained it to somebody was two ends of a battery. Mm-hmm. You have your positive side and your negative side. They're all the piece of the same thing and they can't operate without each other. Mm-hmm. But they do two completely different things in order to keep the power going through.
Yes.
Right? So unfortunately, like you need that base, right? You need that ground in order to keep things flowing the way that it should.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. And Earth specifically is a positive and negative place. There are some other planets that are strictly positive. There are some other planets that are strictly negative.
No thanks.
But yeah, Earth is a duality. So we have both.
A neutralizer.
Yes.
Ideally, if we all work together in like a love frequency, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah.
Because we'd all even each other out and our karma would flow freely and it would be a lot better.
Exactly.
But that's not how the world works yet.
I know. So basically, I can only deduce that I feel like very few positive souls would elect themselves to that. And then I'm like, do you really want to bridge your consciousness with a negative soul? Because that's going to get ugly real quick.
Well, like, do you ever wonder, like, how would that even, like, what would that even look like? You know,
no idea.
How, at what point do you lose your humanness? Mm-hmm. Right? Because I would think, I mean, when you're in that robotic body, like, what happens to your chakras? What happens to your emotions? Like you cannot physically feel them. They're no longer your barometer.
I know. I was just thinking.
Because you can't rely on your mind.
Yeah.
Because the mind is tricky and
it's missing the other half. It's like only half of the equation. But I do know, like with my work on bodies and the human body, like we have 4 bodies. We have our etheric body, our mental body, our emotional body, and then our physical body.
Yeah.
So you switch to a different type of physicality. I would argue that you don't get, because like the emotional body is a very human thing.
Very.
So you don't get that. And obviously because they're very like mental, you may have some sort of mental body, but like what kind of mess?
But I feel like it would be so easy for the ego to run the mind.
That's what I was thinking.
Because if you don't have the emotions and the compassion and the love frequency in there, then how would you even know to flip it? Like, if the goal is to be whole, we do that with all 4 bodies.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like you're giving up a couple of them.
Yeah, it doesn't seem good.
Like, why? Well, here's a question for you. Here's a random question. And I like asking the question because I don't know the answer to mine yet. But what, to you, in your opinion, what does it mean to be human?
Fuck. I feel like the first thing that comes into my mind is like definitely having to deal with the emotional body, because that is not like, speaking as someone who like looks into other people's Akashic records and like other galactic origins, I know the emotional body that we have here is like very unique and vast, and it's part of what makes us human. But then the other part, I don't even know if it makes us human, but like learning what it means to be like separate, right? Because we're like put into these bodies and feel like this illusion of disconnect. And then part of it is like remembering our connection to each other and like realizing that we're all one.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like that comes from a very like empathetic karmic standpoint, where you start to realize like the circle of life. And I really don't know if, I guess I don't know. Because if like, let's say AI, artificial intelligence, is something new, they're going to start at their like rudimentary version of themselves, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then like as they evolve, maybe eventually they'll come to that realization, just as humanity has taken this long to start to come to that realization. Like, I don't know, but losing the emotional part of it definitely sets you apart from humanity.
Well, yeah, you totally,
you're like a different kind of incarnation.
But here's my question, I guess. What is the point? Because why are we even at Earth if it's not to learn to be human?
Exactly.
I feel like that's a way to try and bypass things.
And I feel like it seems like it's the people that would choose this are like, they want to live forever.
Mm-hmm.
And like, to be honest with you guys, I just want to learn this incarnation and like get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, I'm straight GTFO here.
Yeah, exactly. So that also poses the question, like the kind of person that would want to be merged into this consciousness, they're already missing a part of the puzzle to even choose that at all, I think. It's fucking slippery slope.
But I feel like those can also market the shit out of things and convince people this is such a great idea.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
Think about never having aches and pains anymore. Think about not having to worry about getting sick or your body or anything like that. Or, you know, like I can see how you could spin it in a way that people would be like, fuck, this is great. Yeah. We won't have to eat. We won't have to sleep. We won't have to do any of those things.
Fascinating. But I guess like, I don't even know. I would never do it. But I guess we can argue too, like we are on Earth, and you obviously, if you're a human now, you signed up to have a human experience. But if you really want to argue, there's more than human beings that live on this planet. Like there's tons of different species of people. Like, I don't know if you want to think about like Sasquatch, that's a really highly evolved consciousness being who's on this planet.
Yeah.
There's arguably people from other planets on this planet. Apparently there's people that live inside of the Earth. Like, there's a lot of other species here. So is it just like a species shift, or like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah.
It just seems sloppy. It seems like a bad idea.
It just seems like people trying to cheat.
Yes. And it seems like such an ego trap.
Yes. It's the perfect description of it. Hey, would you like to live forever?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I do anyway. Why would I need a robotic body for it?
Yeah. And it's like crazy that we're having this conversation, but it is legitimately like what people are talking about right now. This is a real thing.
This is a big trending topic.
Yes. And it feels like it's very suspicious of the time right now. Like we're all trying to come into our mass awakening and get back to the frequency of harmony and love. And then you're going to throw this cold, dense, unaware consciousness on the planet. And I think it like ruffles the frequency. It's going to like be heavy.
Yeah, it feels very heavy when we're discussing it.
Yeah, and I'm like, oh, great, we're going to get stuck without awakening. And then, like, if you're putting the pieces together in your brain right now about positive and negative souls, who do you think runs this world? There are politicians, there are corrupt leaders, there are corrupt bank owners. There's just corruption everywhere, and they seem to always get away with it because they are negative souls. So the mass awakening is on its way. We're in the age of Aquarius, and it's rumbling their foundations. And they're doing everything in their power to stop the awakening, because they've had everything for so long. The status quo for their entire lives has been that they leech off of, the pyramid, right? The capitalist pyramid, where there's like 5 or 6% on the top. I think it's 1% now. And they're basically fueled and held up by all of us down at the bottom. So the Great Awakening is going to basically crumble that pyramid. And of course they don't want that, because they're not going to have our energy collectively to leech off of anymore. Yeah. So the fact that AIs are coming out and all this like fucking scare tactics in the media is coming out, it's like, just use your critical mind, like, especially when you know about that divide. Because when I used to be a conspiracy theorist, I read the most ridiculous theories that turn out later I can see how they're true now, or partly true, but I couldn't put the why. When you're like trying to solve a crime and they're like, what's the motive? Like, I could never find the motive. Why would people who are worth trillions of dollars, who have their hands in every bank and every country, need more of our energy? They have everything and no one's asking questions. They win. But if we know about the spiritual awakening, I'm fucking sure that they knew about it. Mm-hmm. So no wonder they've tried so hard to hold us in these places. And I'm like, yeah, like, you guys should be fucking scared. Like, the light is won. The light's coming in. And it's just like the AI just feels untimely. I'm like, seems like it's part of the agenda of keeping the vibe low.
Well, yeah, it would be very low. Like, I don't know. Fuck, I hate technology.
Seriously.
Like, I know I need it. Like, for instance, this podcast is all technology. So, like, I have a certain level of appreciation for it, but fuck, do I hate it. So I can't imagine merging myself to that.
And like when technology glitches, like, it fucking glitches. Like, what does a glitch look like when you're like merged into literally like an artificial intelligence?
That's what I was wondering.
What does that look like?
And like a forever glitch?
Yeah.
And like, what happens then? Like, is it like computers where you upgrade?
I have no idea. Did you see that thing? Maybe this is like too taboo for our subject, but did you see that thing where like Joe Biden was like doing a speech or whatever, and he kept restarting his speech over and over again?
No.
It was weird. Everyone was like, robot or no?
But do you ever watch those? What do they call them? They're like celebrity glitches or whatever.
Yes.
And like, I've seen like one of Lady Gaga, or who are some of the other ones? There's a few of them.
What do they glitch out?
Like, they just, I don't know.
They just like, space out, yeah.
Or they'll like shake, or they'll start to say something and like just stop and stare, or you can see like, it's almost like a reboot. Like, it's almost like you can see this little, and then they restart and then they're back.
I know. And now that we're hearing that obviously the technology exists to merge consciousness with like AI type bodies, you start to wonder, you're like, what the fuck is going on out there?
So here's a question. See, now we're going kind of like deep.
I wasn't really expecting this turn of events.
Me neither. But like, what about like selling your soul?
I know, would it be, because I bet you, like, obviously there's some sort of purchase that takes place if you're going to buy a robot body and to have that transfer of software or whatever the fuck happens. Yes. But like, you obviously have to sign on the dotted line. Like, what the fuck did you sign away?
Well, that's just it. You sign away your humanness.
Totally. And I wonder, like, this is obviously a new thing, but in the Akashic records, when you sign on the dotted line in a past life, that fucking thing comes with you from incarnation to incarnation to incarnation. I wonder what this would look like. Whew, that's not going to be good for people.
No. But whoever wants, like, I think this is where I'm confused because my mind just doesn't go there. And yet I'm fascinated by those minds that do. Who would have ever dreamt that this would be a good idea? And like, people are excited about it. And it's like, look at this. And
I would love to hear the speech on why this is a good idea.
Yeah.
And I'm sure it's about like no pain and you can just sleep and you're not going to have anxiety anymore. But like, I guess maybe it comes with a heightened state of like healing. But okay, at the beginning, I'm like, I want to delete my emotions and my mental programming and blah, 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 which sometimes I do. But I'm also becoming like really grateful for like my, like I always call it my emo-ness. Like sometimes I'm just like, go like, oh my God, like fuck, like life's sad. But it's like some of that has made me who I am in a way. Like I think about the things I love the most about myself. And I like love that I love music to the level that I do. And like, I love that I listen to like metal because I have like that much anger or rage, or like can listen to like sad songs because I have that sadness within me. And then you know what? It's driven me to be able to sing and play guitar and those kinds of things. And it's like, man, could you imagine not loving something that much? Like, fuck, that would suck. Or like, even just like I listen to my music. Graham had a friend over this weekend and I was downstairs working out and I was listening to like Limp Bizkit and like Rage Against the Machine, all those like really pump up songs. And he's like, whose music is this? And like Kayla's. And he's like, oh, that's unexpected. I was like, I like that. You know, like that part of you that connects to music or that part of you that connects to something you love. Like I like my emotions and I like sometimes my mental stress. I don't want to keep it forever, but it's made me who I am.
Well, I'm trying to learn feelings.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, I have them or whatever, but, and this came up in your channel messages for me too. It was like, I need to learn how to love something that much. Like when you say, I love it to this degree, I cannot understand it.
That's crazy.
Like, I'm like, why? Like how, like.
Again, we're like these opposite sides of the spectrum. But I'm just sometimes.
But like, I get so like, I want to feel that. And I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna, and I try, but it's like I get to this. If the finish line were here and like, nobody can fucking see what I'm doing, but like about 3/4 of the way, there was like a checkpoint. I'd be like, good enough. And that's where I'd stop. Cause I'm like, I can see the finish line. It's like 2 feet from, fuck this, it's not worth it. You know, so I don't understand what that feels like. Like, and I've felt things really intently and I have loved people and things like super intently, but never to that degree. And so I get really annoyed, especially like with other people.
I was like, ouch.
No, but I mean like you say, I love music. But like people are like, I just love him so much. And I'm like gonna die if he doesn't. I'm like, why? Like, what the fuck is wrong with you? But it's because I literally cannot understand it. Like I don't understand that level.
I know, where the fuck did it go? What did I say in your channel message? I can't remember. It was just you should learn to love it. That was all they said to you?
Like, well, basically, like I'm here to learn. Like that's what I'm like from the human point of view.
Oh,
I mean, I have a mission here and stuff, and yes, but like my personal, like what I need to learn is the love, like how to feel that love and accept that love. I can give it.
Oh yeah.
But it's to receive it.
Right.
but I don't, and, but what you told me was, fuck, my guides are such fucking assholes. It's like anytime
they were assholes, kind of.
But like anytime I get remotely close to that with friendships, relationships, whatever, they do something to make it fucking.
Why did they say that though? I remember they gave it I was like laughing. It's like, I can't believe I have to say this. Oh, there's something about you having to step into the spotlight and be seen and be heard. And they were like, anytime you get like too close to a group of people that will like, I don't even
support you and like be there for you,
then they shut it down. Yeah.
We rip it away from you.
Fuck. Hope they don't take me away from you. That'll suck. I think we're good though.
Well, I think we're good.
Yeah.
We're too opposite.
Totally.
But I think that, I mean, I'm just kind of like, well, fuck, how am I supposed to learn? But that's what I mean. I think that's it. Like I think that's why I have trust issues too. Because I was analyzing that afterwards. Because I'm like, It's like anytime I have the support to stand on my own 2 feet, why do they take it away? If that's what I'm here to learn.
Fuck, I don't know.
Like just to be like, fucking just do it?
I guess I don't know. The only thing I can deduce is they want you to just like, not even the support. They need you to like do it on your own and then the support will come, I bet. They're like, you go first and then you'll find your people after.
Maybe. I don't know. It was just very strange.
Yeah.
It's a very.
And your guides were kind of dicks.
Yeah.
Yeah. I remember you being like, my guides are assholes. I don't even know if they'll talk to you kind of thing. And I was like, hopefully they do. And I was like, ooh. You guys
see what I mean?
You guys are rude.
Yeah. But all my past lives have been very solitary as well.
Yeah.
Even when I have children.
Really?
Or family. Or, they all leave relatively young.
I think they said something about that too, didn't they?
They might
I don't know. I don't remember.
Yeah, but like my kids got married young and would leave, or they left home early, or they, or like my spouse would die early, or, like it was always very.
It's fucking karma is such a bitch. I'm like, just like get little flashbacks of all my lives. And I'm like, God damn it.
I'm very interested though. Like I find it fascinating.
It is interesting.
But my question is, okay, so maybe that's part of the reason why I'm supposed to be learning it in this particular lifetime. Because if I'm just like, well, if I don't really feel to the degree that everybody else is, maybe I would be the type that would buy into that AI.
Could be.
Maybe. It's like, well, I mean, it's one less thing to worry about.
True.
But then I also think I'm like, oh, no, I hate technology too much. I don't think that would have been a thing, but.
For sure. I don't know. The only thing I can understand from like why we sign up for the things we do, it's actually because as soon as, this is what my spirit guides always tell me. They're like, well, you look at the life that you lived and you're like, well, fuck, that wasn't really the best thing that I ever did. And you're like, God damn it. And you deliberately like reincarnate again because you're like, I just can't get this right. So like it's like lessons that we want to choose. And then I heard somebody else ask one time, they were like, well, why do we continue to choose that? And they were like, there's no other game to play. Like you could just float around in the upstairs or whatever forever and do nothing for an unbeknownst amount of time. And it's like, it's really the only thing to do. Incarnate and learn lessons and like fuck shit up, So they're like, you just keep doing it because there's nothing else to do. And I was like,
But it would kind of be like that redundancy though, too, if you did go with the AI route.
True.
Right? Because if you could continually upgrade and live forever.
That's true.
What are you going to integrate? What are you going to learn? Again, what is the point?
I know. What is the point?
To prove that we can? That's a very ego-driven.
I know. It just doesn't seem proper. Because even when you think about the fall of Atlantis, like if you know anything about the fall of Atlantis, it was an interesting time where people got way too full of themselves and started like fucking with the laws of life. Because there are still some ground rules.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And they just started like, they were mixing, like, you know, like centaurs and mermaids and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
They would actually like they would take a literal fish and a literal human that they didn't think was like useful, and they'd blend the DNA, and it was like extremely painful for everybody. And then they would ostracize this person because they were like weird. And then they'd have like Coliseum hunting games where they would put all these people in like the ring and kill each other. And they basically,
may the odds be ever in your favor.
Yeah. And the reason that they had to stop that was because, like, right, we had this perception that like God created us. So then Atlanteans were kind of like, well, we're creating these new people and we're blending DNA, so therefore we must be gods. And they became like very invincible. And then Atlantis sunk because they were breaking that level of rules.
Yeah.
Like, you don't think that we're going to start fucking around with AIs and like whatever other kind of bullshit they're doing, that they're not going to come, like, there are rules. We will sink ourselves if we don't watch out. Like,
yes, exactly. See, that's my big thing. I'm like, I feel like this is a very slippery slope.
Yeah.
Because if we lose our humanness, because I just can't see it, how it would continue, like the human portion. How could it even continue without that emotional kind of guidelines? Yeah, like you say, it's a big ego trap. And then what happens when the ego goes crazy? Things implode.
Oh, yeah.
Like, I just feel like, and maybe this is me being all melodramatic, because I tend to be like that sometimes. But I feel like AI equals the end of humanity. Like the end of, not even just humanity, the end of the world.
Yeah. And if we keep talking about like the ascension process, clearly they're not able to ascend because they don't have the ability to vibrate from a place of pure love. So like they're just going to go to the version of Earth that goes through the apocalypse. Like, what's the point of this?
Well, it's almost like, I don't know, I get the feeling like Earth no longer exists. Like it'll be like blow up kind of.
Yes.
Yeah. Interesting.
It is interesting.
But I just can't get over what is the point? Like, can somebody explain that to me? What is the point of AI other than to prove that we can? Yeah.
It just feels so ego-driven, like all of it. Even like Tesla having the need to create this feels like, look what I can create. I am God.
You know what? Here's the thing I find interesting about Tesla being the ones to like, I mean, lots of different ones are working on robots, I'm sure. Like there's other ones. But Tesla is the one that's kind of in the spotlight right now. But I'm just like, when I think of Tesla and what he was working towards, this would never have been on his fucking radar. So I'm just kind of like, you bastardized like what Tesla was even working for.
And he was like a fucking genius who basically was going to create free energy for everybody.
Well, he had it.
He had free energy. And then surprise, surprise, he died. And then they went with, who's the other guy? Edison.
Well, no, they stole his stuff. Like Edison stole shit from him or some shit. I don't know the whole history, but basically Tesla died basically poor and starving to death in his 80s.
Because
and they came in and stole all his research and then locked it away in a patent's office.
Yeah, because guess what? You can't monetize free energy, but you could monetize the shit that Edison stole.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's like blasphemy to use his name on something like this, but whatever.
Exactly. I think that's one of the reasons why I'm like, good God, people.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, as much as emotions are a fucking pain in the ass, I wouldn't want to not have them.
Yes.
Because I mean, yeah, let's be honest, they're fucking amazing. Like, they're amazing. They're so cool. But at the same time, I'm like, fuck, who needs this bitch? Who needs this little whiny, crazy, like, meh, poor me girl today?
I know. But you know, like, I have bumped into people that, like, where they were from before, they felt like very small gamuts of emotion. And it just, like, doesn't seem like that much fun. They're very, like, work-centric. Mm-hmm. If you meet them, they like really attach their meaning to things like accomplishments or work. Like, that's not a world I want to live in. Like, obviously, I think if you've been listening, I talk a lot about how I'm like really passionate and get easily excited and I need somewhere to put my focus. I would just not do well as an AI. Like my energy is not going to be compatible with that. I would be like nothing. If I wasn't that, I would be nothing. So I don't know. What's there to focus on if you don't have like the pursuit of happiness?
Yeah.
Or the pursuit of like fun or joy or like finding your passion. Like honest to God, what the fuck would you do?
And like the
Just
joy
exist?
of the joy of learning.
Yeah.
You know, like it would be like, well, how are you going to learn anything? You could just know it because you could just program it in. And here's the other thing that freaks me out. Here's the paranoid side of me. Are you ready? I'm like, what could they put in me that I don't want?
Right? You lose control. If someone's like programming you, you lose control about like what your program is. Because you're like, I mean, I'm guessing the idea, like, I don't know, are they supposed to be sovereign people that decide what their programming is, or someone control them? Like, what the fuck?
And like, who's monitoring it? Like, if the AI starts taking over and doing their own thing, even if you program like the frequency of love and all that stuff in it, they could evolve past it.
And couldn't you like override the system? Like, if there's like, so let's say like Tesla's created this program, but like one day they were like, well, we need more people to register in the military.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Let's just send that programming out to all of our little bots and we'll have an influx of enrollment. Like, I think you would lose your sovereignty, your ability to discern what it is you want or don't want. You would just be like a robot. And that's probably the point. Like,
yeah, I know that's the point, but I'm like, but what is that point? I just don't get it. It sounds so boring.
I'm definitely going to look up how they're marketing this. Like, I am confused.
But I mean,
I don't bamboozlement they're trying to send people.
Yeah, I mean, I think they're just in the process of, hey, look what we can do now.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think it's marketing of, hey, want to be a robot?
Yeah, one day that would be one thing.
You know? But you just know down the road, like, that's the plan.
Yeah.
You know?
I really hope we evolve past this, because for the love of God, people. Like, I feel like, yeah.
It reminds me of the Jetsons, though. Did you ever watch the Jetsons with Rosie, the robot fucking maid?
Yes.
I mean, that'd be okay. I could do a robot maid, but then I think that takes jobs away from a human being.
Yeah, really.
Who I could connect with on an emotional level, not thanks, bot.
I know. At the beginning of this podcast, we're like, fuck people.
I know. We're growing, we're evolving. People aren't so bad.
Yeah. It's just massive groups of people that I struggle with.
Yes.
Anyway, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't make any sense to me. And if that's something they can do, it makes me really wonder what else they can do behind the scenes. And I've heard that like one of the reasons the awakening is being like pushed up or like forcibly happening is because those rules of humanity are being vastly disregarded. And they're like, we better get the show on the road here because we need to get the people that are ascending the fuck out of there.
Yeah, because I feel lots of like, oh my God, the messages coming in and meditations and stuff. Just, you're out of time. And then last night they're like, there's going to be a slight delay. And I was like,
I know. Fuck, I can feel that.
But yet I woke up because I remember that came in. I was like, fuck me. Well, I think. But then I came and I was just like, so like, I'm okay with it. And I'm just so grounded. And I'm just so like, it doesn't matter.
I feel like there's a lot. It's still happening in the background, fast and heavy, but like our awareness of it is a little bit pushed back.
Yeah, delayed.
Yeah. A little bit. Which is annoying. I don't care what happens. I'm good with all of it, but I just don't want it to be dragged out for the next 40 years of my life. Like, let's just squash it down to the next year and just like destroy everything and like just rebuild. Like, I'm over it. Like, finally in my prime. I'm finally free. And then it's just like, fuck.
But I'm just like, people's brains are going to break.
Yes.
But you know what? Whether you do it fast or like rip the Band-Aid off.
That's what
whether you do it fast or whether you do it slow, it's still happening.
I know. I just don't get it. Like, let's just, come on, pick up our feet out there.
How are you guys feeling? Are you feeling as frustrated with that kind of shit as we are?
I just want to get the show on the road. That's it. I'm ready.
Like, we're well on the way.
That's true. It's already started.
And I mean, I think about from like a couple months ago even.
Mm-hmm.
There seems to be a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's promising.
I even think like if a year ago, I guess it's like, I don't know. let's say a couple years ago, if we did a podcast like this,
oh, fuck.
it'd be insane. No one would be listening.
No. They might pass around and be like, listen to these two crazy bitches.
Yeah. Or just even like you see something stupid posted online and you look at the comments and like most people are like, wow, this is stupid. Before it was like everybody defending the nonsense. And now there's people actually challenging it.
Questioning it.
Yeah. Challenging the status quo, like thinking beyond. So we're in the middle of it. That's for sure.
Yeah.
And I guess we can't rush it because I legitimately needed that time to put myself back together. Like, fuck, I was a hot mess.
Yeah.
Emotionally.
I'm just impatient.
I'm also extremely impatient. So now that I'm slowly gluing myself back together, I'm like, all right, I'm ready. Mm-hmm. It's like, are you really? Could you let the glue set maybe?
I know. And I'm still like learning how to love or accept love or whatever the fuck it is I'm supposed to learn. Spirit guides. Thanks for being clear. Fuck. But I mean, I'm still integrating that. It's a lot better than it used to be though.
That's good.
Like, oh yeah. Like I learned that all through my coaching though.
Mm-hmm.
So I feel like that I would be so way worse off if I hadn't done that.
Don't you feel like when we talk about things like that, it's like we like mirror each other's like things that we need? I like maybe like love things too. I don't want to say love things too much, but I like let it hurt me too much. You're allowed to love things to an inexplicable level, but you have to know that they might not love you back that much. And you can't have it all the time. So I feel like then it's like you help me neutralize that and like see through like the ego traps and like the wounds. And then I'm like, look how much you can love something.
Yeah. And I'm like, but I don't understand how.
I know. That's like when I like still sometimes you say things about the ego and I have to like, my brain's like, we're not going to listen. La, la, la.
Huh?
And then then I'm like, wait a minute. And I have to like repeat it back to myself several times before I can hear it. And I'm like, fuck, what a mess.
Yeah. That's part of the process. It's what makes life fun.
I know. That's true.
I think so anyway.
I do too. Because I actually had this like epiphany. I think it was this morning. I was talking about how the right side of my body is just like really struggling. And I was like, I think the hip means like moving forward or feeling like there's nowhere to move forward to. And I was like, that kind of makes sense. It's not that I feel like I've peaked or anything, but I'm like, ooh, the next step's going to be like a really big leap. And then I'm like, do I really want to go there or just get like stuck here? My body's like, no, you got to go. And then I'm like, no, we're all going to be locked down again soon. It's going to be clusterfucks. I'm just going to sit. And it's like, no, you better keep going. Like, imagine if you literally had all of your goals or wants or needs met, like, right now. Like, what would you focus on? I guess you just keep dreaming bigger and bigger and bigger.
Well, yeah. And if you want to know what our big dreams are, go to our podcast. Or our podcast. You're on our podcast. Go listen to our bonus episode on Patreon. We literally just recorded what our big dreams are.
Our big dreams.
Our big current coming manifestations.
Yes. That's crazy. It's just like I would never have been like, if you would have asked me a couple years ago if I thought I'd be here or thought I had this potential, I would have been like, ha ha ha, you're crazy.
Yeah, I would have laughed your fucking ass out my door.
Yeah, and now I'm just like, oh, what can I create next?
Hashtag who knew?
Yeah, who knew for real? I always say that. Who knew?
Yeah. Again, merch coming soon. Just kidding.
Fuck, every day. We're getting merch soon. Never does anything about it. But you know what? Summer was really yang. We're just kind of coming down into that like grounded energy now. So hopefully we'll get our like ducks in a row.
Totally.
Get some shit out there.
Fuck. All I want though is I just want to live in our own comfy merch.
I know. I'm like, I just want that hoodie for myself.
I know. Sup, bitches?
Yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. If you guys know anything about merch, shoot us a message.
We got Christy.
That's true. We do have Christy. One of our Patreons. She's like, yeah, we got to talk to her about that.
This is literally what she does for a living. So we better get her on the case.
Yeah. And
we should ask her like how, like
how do you even get started? And like, do we need and if you guys have any design ideas, pop them our way.
Yes, please.
Our emails in the contact stuff's in the description. I was going to say it's in the shit, but you know what I mean?
That's funny.
Fuck. Yeah, fuck me.
Yeah.
Anywho. Well, any other ideas about this topic?
No.
I think my brain hurts.
I know. I feel like if you want to be an AI, you should go to an AI planet. If you want to be human, just be human. Like, sure there's AI planets.
What do you guys think of this robot? Like, what, like, is it a good idea? Do you think it's a bad idea? Like, what are your thoughts?
Is there something we're missing?
Yeah, like, I feel like, is there something we're missing? Because I just can't see a point.
I know. And it's not even, like, I just don't understand the concept. Like, why?
Yeah, like, why? Exactly. I don't get it. And do you believe that, the emotions and everything gets taken away when you do that?
Let us know.
Let us know. What do you believe? Like, what is humanness to you?
Yes.
Deep Questions by Randy and Kayla.
Because we don't know the answers.
Because we need some pointers.
Honestly.
It's all good. Well, kiddos, I hope you enjoyed this really rambly, like, episode of just existential questions.
For real.
Why? Just why?
Mm-hmm.
But that's how we roll here sometimes.
Yeah.
And that's okay.
Exactly. Pondering life's many questions.
I love it. Well, kids, don't forget to join us on Patreon. Drop us some, I don't know, some merch ideas. Just shoot us an email. You got ideas for topics to talk about? What do you want to hear? Let us know. We like all your input.
Yes, please.
All right, bitches. We'll see you on the next one. Bye.